And we are live. Hello everyone. Can you hear me? Just type in the chat section if you can hear me or not. Then we'll begin. Maybe some more viewers will join soon. So just type in the chat section if you can hear me or not. Okay, looks like you people can hear me. Okay, so let's begin. So maybe 3-4 days back, I asked you people what you wanted to discuss during today's live stream, and these are the few topics that I got, like what's price tightening, exit strategy, screener for beginner, stock selection, pattern I trade most. These were the few topics that you people suggested that we should discuss today, and any more topic you have in mind, you can comment in the chat section, and then we will discuss that too. So first, let's start with price tightening. Okay, so what is price tightening? So I have few good examples here. Somebody asked me on Twitter as well why I selected this particular stock, this Refix Industries, and what is price tightening. I have more few examples of such stocks. Okay, so what's price tightening? So if I have to explain it in a simple language, price tightening kya hai? It's like simple when the range of the price movement is getting smaller and smaller and smaller along with the volume. As you can see in this diagram that I have drawn here, whenever the range, like you can also see in this example as well, like ये example है जो हमारे पास, you can clearly see how the price is how the price range is getting smaller and smaller, like it is kind of forming a triangle. Let's forget about that, any pattern, let's forget about that, just focus on the price, what the price is doing right now. Okay, right, you can clearly see the range, जो price की movement की range है, right? So if you see this during this first range, it's very similar to the VCP, the mark Minervini, the volatility contraction. You can clearly see the first range was 31%, उसके बाद की जो so this range is between the swing high and the swing low. Okay, so second swing high swing low ki range was 13.52% and third is 12.47%. So this is one example of price tightening, right? Whenever the when the price is moving from left to right and the range is getting smaller and smaller and the price is getting tighter, means it's trading in a narrow range. The spread is smaller. What I mean by spread is basically your candle ka size, the difference between the high and the low point. So whenever your spread is getting smaller, means the candle size and the overall movement is getting smaller and smaller. That is what your price tightening is. I have another example for that. So this example, Polyplex, I think so it was, no, it's not Polyplex, yeah, Polymedicure. Wait a second, yeah, Polymedicure. Yeah, again you can clearly see here, after this huge run up here, the price is just consolidating in a very small range. If we ignore these two candles, if we ignore these two candles, you can see the overall price range is around 2-3%. So that is what price tightening is. Means whenever the range is getting kind of smaller as we move from left to right. So what does this that mean? Because key after a strong up move, some people have booking profits and some new buyers are entering, but there is not much activity, like a silent activity is going on, like there's not much volume, there's not much trading activity going on that at that moment during the price tightening. The buyers and the sellers are changing hands silently. So that is what price tightening is. Let me show you a few more examples if I have of price tightening. What's price tightening is, I think so I had few more examples. Yeah, you can see this as well. You can see here right before the breakout, if you can clearly see right before the breakout, after this huge up move, see, one thing I told you about the spread. So you can see the size of the spread. So spread is basically your difference between the high and the low point. And uske baad you can clearly see how the price consolidated in a very narrow range. See, this is just 5-6% range after this huge up move from around 62 level to 74. Okay, so this up move is around 20%. Uske baad you can see the price just consolidated in a very small range, right? You can clearly see it tightening, and then there was the range expansion, and with that there was the spread expansion. Yeah, so there was the range expansion, the volume expansion, and the range expansion. So range expansion is just like I said, your spread expansion. That means the difference between the high and the low. Look at the size of the, for that you just need to look at the size of the candle. So after tightening, after this contraction comes the expansion, right? So after the contraction comes the expansion. I have one more example. So this one is a bit risky stock, so please don't take any of these stocks as any recommendation, right? Okay, so again, if you see, this is also kind of a VCP. It's a pure VCP, right? So again, as I said, the price tightening is your range getting smaller and smaller. You can clearly see the first range was around 25%. So range is your difference between the swing high and the swing low point. That is, this is the swing high, this is the swing low, and after that, and again after that, you see range getting smaller and smaller, and then comes the expansion part. So it's very very similar to your VCP. And there's another type of price tightening as well, like when the price is just consolidating, very very narrow range candles like this few days, like you won't get such setups too many. You won't get too many such setups. Most of the setups that you will get are these VCP types, when the price is getting the range is getting narrower as the price is moving from left to right. Okay, so is that clear? You can type it in the chat section if it's clear or not, then we'll move on to the other topics as well. One of the example of that kind of tightening is this. You can clearly see after see, this is a very perfect example. After this huge up move from the bottom, you can clearly see this huge up move, and this move was around that of 47% move, right? Look at how the price is contracting after that. Look at the range here. Look at the range, right? Very narrow range. The each candle, if you look at the each candle, has a range of around 2%, max to max 1.5 to 2% range. And this consolidation, this tightening has been going on from a very long time, from like May. It's like 4th May, so it's almost been more than 2 months, right? So this tightening has been going on for around 2 months, and now uh, most likely the range is expanding on the upper side. Okay, yeah, okay, clear. So that tightening thing is clear. Yeah, okay. So again, if you see, so what does this mean is that after the tightening, after the contraction, comes the part of the expansion, राइट. सो एक बार जब प्राइस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो जाता है फ्रॉम इन वेरी नैरो रेंज, व्हेन द एक्टिविटी जब कम हो जाती है between the buyers and the sellers, that is when the price is contracting, when the activity is very low, right? So there are not many buyers or sellers, like the silent kind of exchange of hands is going on at that time. Okay, so उसके बाद आता है part expansion. So expansion could be on the upper side or on the low side, that we don't know. वो सिर्फ जब एक बार ब्रेकआउट आएगा, एक बार जब एक्सपेंशन चालू होगी, लाइक इन दिस केस इट इज सजेस्टिंग कि एक्सपेंशन इज गोइंग टू बी ऑन द अपर साइड. Okay, so till then we don't know which way the price is going to move. Obviously we can have a bias if a stock is in a good uptrend and then it's consolidating. We have a bias that the price may expand on the upper side, right? And if the overall market condition is good, so that is a very big possibility that after a good up move, like in this case, the expansion could be on the upper side, right? Again, if you see the 10 and 22, this blue one is the 10 moving average, the orange one is the 21, and this one is the 50, right? So they caught up with the price, because again price was consolidating in range. And look at the moving averages here, look at the activity of the moving averages. They have almost converged, the 10 and the 21, and the 50 has also caught up. It's very near. So maybe keep an eye on this setup, right? Observe how it behaves after this point, because again it is kind of suggesting, looking at the last two candle, you can clearly see the spread is expanding, right? So I'm repeating myself again. So what is the spread? Spread is the difference between the higher and the low. Okay, so you can clearly see after the candle had 1 to 2% range, slowly the expansion is going on, the range is slowly expanding, right? So again at this point it is suggesting that it may go up and it may continue you know up move from here, I think so. I had another example like this, not this one. Yeah, again you can find the examples of tightening everywhere. See, when the price is moving in a very narrow range with the volume going down. So again इसमें volume का has a very big role in this. Okay, so volume should be going down. Again volume क्यों नीचे जाएगा? It's simple because uh, the activity between the buyers and the seller is coming down, right? If you have any more questions regarding this, you can ask in the chat section. So I'll be waiting for your questions regarding any of this. Again you can clear, if I remove the moving averages here, again you can clearly see after the expansion, you can clearly see the price contracted. So this is what your price tightening is. So this is a very bullish sign in my opinion, because I trade mostly such setups where I get the contraction, where but two things I need a prior strong move like this. You can clearly see the spread of these candles, right? I need that, and after that I need the price tightening. So again you can clearly see after this huge up move of around 18%, this single candle the range has come down to around 4.5%. Again the price is tightening. So again I'll wait for it to cross this 970-75 level before going in, because again I need a confirmation ki the expansion is going to happen on the upper side and not on the lower side, because that is something we can't tell beforehand ki the expansion is going to on upside or the downside. Again if a stock is in a good uptrend, if it is above the short term moving averages, we have a bias that it may expand on the upper side, but that may not be the case every single time. Okay, so I think so this topic is clear. Yeah, VCP definitely does fake moves, because again there is nothing certain in the market, right? Again your what your VCP is, right? Again the volatility contraction means when the price is tightening from the range is getting smaller, like प्राइस की जो मूवमेंट होती है वो कम होती रहती है as the price is moving from left to right side. So that is simply your VCP like this. So again it may give a breakout on the upper side, but उसके बाद it's not necessary that the breakout may fail. Succeed. The breakout may succeed. So breakout fail भी हो सकता है, and it may give a fake move as well. I think so it happened. So these are the few stocks that you can keep an eye on, like this focus lighting, the Reflex Industries. Okay, so these are the current VCPs that are forming. KECL is another name, right? You can keep an eye on these 2-3 names that are currently kind of forming the the contraction is going on. That Unichem Labs, I think so. Yeah, so these are 3-4 names. You can keep an eye on them. Then you'll notice. Then you yourself will notice how it works, because again practical is needed. Okay, thanks for giving an example. Again, see, you said ki you might be referring to this particular candle on 27th, formed on 27th June, that it may fail, but again it was not a clear, because again if I look at the, you need to look at the overall range, overall range का है, and then a follow up is very much needed. So again अगर आपका breakout आता है after the contraction has happened and the price starts moving way upward, so at least it needs a 2-3 day follow up. Again I'm not saying कि you need to wait for the follow-up, because again your risk reward will be totally destroyed if you wait for the follow-up. But again, you need a follow-up after the during the expansion phase. You need a follow-up to get more confirmation. Okay. So this is another example I'll be adding in my watch list. Yeah, so again this is again another example. See, again you can clearly see here idhar bhi contraction hua tha right before the breakout. You can see there, then there was the range expansion, the volume and the spread. So this is what we call the range expansion. So I hope that's clear. Next topic is the exit strategy. Okay, so exit strategy depends on so many things. First of all, you need to look at the overall broader market, how the broader market is going. My personal take is, suppose the during let's say during this phase. Okay, I'll be taking example of during this phase when the market was going down. Okay, so there sorry, my throat is is not in a good condition, so sorry for that. Okay, so during this phase, right, during the down move phase, most of the breakouts were failing, but again some of them moved, like some of the sectors you may know, like the defense and few other sectors, like auto ancillaries did good. Your mid cap ITs, a few of the mid cap IT also did good. Maybe some autos, and especially like your stocks like ITC and etc. did good during this phase. Your FMCG etc. So during so this is only my take. This is what I follow. So during this kind of phase, if I get a good setup during the down move phase, if I get a good setup, suppose I was able to buy it here. So what my initial thought process would be to at least book a profit if it gives a quick 10-15% move. So that is at least the partial profit booking would be at that point. Again, you have to keep the broader market situation in the context. Okay, so during the bad overall market condition, if I get a quick mover like this that moves 10-20% within 1-2 days, I would like to book 50-60% of the profit, and the rest I will trade with the this 10-day moving average. Okay, and if I come to the positional, let's say if I come to the positional take, like if I share you the example of this this trade I took. So yeah, so I entered it at this particular level. Okay, so I entered it at this particular level, right? So this is what the breakout candle, and why I entered here, because of the inside bar happening. So I'll explain this whole inside bar concept that I follow in another video, right? Okay, so I entered at this point. So again, if you see from that point onwards, it has given a 43% move, right? And not even once it has closed below its 10-day moving average. So if I'm getting such a quick mover, why would I sell it, right? Unless I have a better opportunity. But again, why would I sell it? Because that is a big mistake. Sometimes I make this mistake. Not sometimes, I make this mistake a lot of stock hopping, right? If you got a good mover, you already got a winner. Why do you want to jump in another stock? And this happens because of the bombardment of the multiple charts on the social media. You go on Twitter, there every day somebody is launching rockets there, right? So you get uh, like you think why my stock is not moving, because again it is a kind of fast mover. But again, within 1 month it has given 40%, more than 40% returns. That is really good, right? But again, somebody will show you, I caught this stock and it gave 20-30% in single day. You'll think at that time ki why my stock is not moving. Then you'll hop on from one stock to another stock. But that is a mistake that beginners made. That is a mistake that I am also making a lot. Okay, so you need to keep that in mind. Okay, so again I was explaining the exit strategy. So if you got this kind of a mover like this one, and if I look at the another one also, if I got this kind of move, right, I entered around 130 something, right? If you have this kind of stock which is taking support at the 10-day moving average and is currently moving you know with good speed. See, again, this is also moved 35%, right? So why do you want to sell it? So my simple rule is, during a peak bull market like this one, at least not selling the stock as long as it is above the 10 and the 21 moving average, especially as long as it is above the 10 moving average, like this one, like the example I showed you of the other one, Titagar, and this one JWL, right? So that is one example. Again, many stocks have different characteristics, right? So some are like, silent and quick movers, like this one and the Titagar, because again there are many other factors. Some are a little violent movers that will give a deeper pullbacks as they go up. Okay, so I exactly don't have a example here right now, I think so. Like this one, again, this is also one of my trade that I took, and I bought it right here at this 88 level. Okay, so again, this is the point where it's breaking its 10-day moving average. And full disclaimer, I have already exited this particular trade. It gave a good 40% move. Okay, so I've already exited this trade. Okay, so again, this is the point after a 40% move. This is the point where it's breaking its trend moving average. Again, I found a better opportunity, so I shifted. But again, the structure is still intact. I may not, because again, you can't always exit at the top. So first instant is when it's breaking the 10-day moving average. So I, at least after a stock has given 30-40% move, so I'm being primarily a swing trader, I'll book at least 50%, at least 50 percent at this point. Okay, that also, rest of it also depends on your time frame for which you are trading. Like, if you are a positional, it doesn't make sense to book so early. Okay, you because you are looking to capture a much larger move as compared to this. So again, this is another example of, I was just going through charts, and this is another example of tight range happening. So I'll share this watch list, that I have here. Okay, so again, you can see like what kind of violent move it can give once it breaks out. TTK healthcare, right? Again, you can clearly see the range, and how much is the range? Like 8.5% after a see, if you see from the, let's look at from the gap level. After a, wait a second, yeah, after this 40% move, it has been consolidating in a range of uh, only 8.5%, and the 50 moving average is also catching up. Again, it has not given a proper breakout yet, but again, my bias is that there could be a range expansion on the upper side, so I'll be keeping this in the watch list. So maybe, I hope that's clear as well. You can ask some more questions if you have. So Dawat has VCP. Okay, let's see. I won't say it's a VCP, because again, the concept is like VCP could be from weeks to even months, last from weeks to even months, or maybe for a few days, if you look at the smaller time frame. But again, for a VCP, I would prefer to have a elaborate base of maybe 1-2 weeks or maybe more, right? Again, you said in case of this, so this is the instance of only first contraction, right? So for a VCP, you need at least two contractions. Okay, so I hope that is clear. You can ask some more questions if you have. Again, this is the example of tightening, range tightening after a good up move. Again, this is another example. See, this is what I was saying. Ki it's not necessary that the expansion has to be on the upside. So this is a stock, like, after a good up move from here to this point, the stock was consolidating. My bias was clearly on the upside, and this candle very good fake out if you see, because during the day it went as high as 22 24.49. Okay, but it closed at 22.96, and after that there was the follow up two down moves. Again, now it's breaking the 50-day moving average. So this could also happen. That's why during whenever you're trading these kind of setups, your stop loss level should be tight, on the tighter side. Okay, okay, I hope it's clear. Yeah, so there Mr. Cool, I'll go through this Parag Milk and this Avanti feed, etc. a little later. First, we'll finish these topics like like we finished the price tightening. I hope you understood what price tightening is, and then we looked at the exit strategy. Then we have the screener for beginner. So screener for beginner, like if you're a complete beginner, you're in the market. One thing you just have to do one thing: look at the stocks at 52-week high, right? Again, that is not an optimal strategy. Okay, that is not a optimal strategy. But if you're a complete beginner, you don't know much about what's tightening, what's VCP, and what's inside bar, and how many other factors. If you don't know about that, you just need a stock selection criteria. If you're a complete beginner, then simple you have to do is search for 50, just go to Google and search for 52-week high stocks. Okay, you just have to do this, then go to NSE India. You'll find this website, new 52-week high low stocks. Okay, so here you will get the here it's showing the securities above the price of 20 rupees. Okay, so all the stocks about 20 rupees in the whole NSE listed universe. Okay, it will give you the all the number of stocks that are at 52-week high. As you can clearly see, it's 126, and 52-week low are at 14. So you just have to ignore this, just look at the list of 52-week high stocks, and then next thing you have to do is go through the chart of each of these. See, again, if you want to actually learn the price section, you have to go through multiple charts, as many as possible. Whatever your whatever time allows you, you have to go as many through as many charts as possible, right? Again, if you see these names like the Anup, if you look at the Anup at 52-week high, here you'll get to know about the characteristics of a stock that is moving. Again, here after a very good up move, you can clearly see the price was well maintained about 21-day moving average, right? If I remove the 50, the remember the this orange line is the 21-day moving average. Not even once. Okay, so not even once the price has broken after this up move started, and here it was the range expansion level, and this was the pullback that happened. It broke the 10, but again next day very bounced back very well. Okay, and this was the consolidation, and then another up move. Okay, so you have to do is you have to look for such setups. Okay, if you are a complete beginner, just do this, just go through the list of 52-week high stocks. Okay, you'll learn a lot. Like if you look at the example of another one, the Apar Industries. Again, if you see, you will find many common characteristics, like the stocks are already in a good uptrend, right? That's why they are making the 52-week high. Okay, if I look at the other stocks, Anantraj, again, the stock after this brief consolidation, I won't say brief, after this consolidation, when the price finally broke out. Okay, it 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 stayed above the 21 moving average, above this point. Suppose you bought it at 146, 147. Okay, and then there was this consolidation here, a brief consolidation. This one is a very brief consolidation, and then there was the breakout. Okay, so again, you could have if you do this daily, you would have gotten it at new 52-week high, this candle, and suppose you bought it at there 172. Again, after that the price followed. So as long as the stock has strength, and as long as the broader market is good, even if you are buying a stock at the 52-week high, you will get a good follow-up move after that. So that is one thing that a complete beginner that doesn't have any much experience of the market and don't know about other concepts should follow. If you have if it's clear, then I'll move on to the next topic. If you have any more questions, then you can just ask me. Again, one thing more you have to notice with that, during the price movement and the range expansion, as I said, the spread expansion and the volume expansion, so these two combine is the range expansion. So during the expansion of the spread, that means the size of the candle, always look at the volume, if the volume is also expanding or not. So there's a simple thing that during the range expansion, whichever side it's happening, during the spread expansion, like that means the size of the candle, if it's happening on the upper side, the volume should also move on the upper side. Okay, so I have few screeners that I use, like this one, this gap screener that I have here. See, these two stock gave a very good gap on the 63. These four stocks came in the gap screener, so I'll link a few of my screeners below in the description. You can go through that. But if you are a complete beginner, just do this exercise multiple times, maybe follow this for 1 month, then you'll get to know the characteristics of a stock that is moving positively. Yeah, like the when I shared in my first video, the charting link. Yeah, so again, that is based on my criteria, uh, but I'll share the link again, and maybe one or two scanners also. But again, scanner is like, maybe good for once you have a defined criteria or a strategy, your scanner is only good after that. Okay, till then you have to go through as many charts as possible. Just go through do the manual scanning as much as possible. Again, this is again an example of a perfect example of, look how beautifully the stock is taking support at the 21 and 10, and it has been contracting in a range. So again, this is a very bullish setup in my opinion, the one I like to trade. So I'll give the link of this my watch list in the description. You can go through these charts, and then you'll see why I selected certain stocks for 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 this week or next week, or maybe even next week, if the structure remains intact. Like, it's like, if you look at this example, this HBL power. Okay, so next question that we had is the stock selection. Again, uh, stock selection again will depend on your own strategy, right? Why I have selected these particular stocks, right? I showed you the example, like why I selected this one here. Again, after a good move, the stock is consolidating in a narrow range. Again, why I selected this, again, same thing happening here. After this good up move, after this up move, the stock consolidated, that too above the 10 and 21 moving average, and then another expansion. So again, there could be a consolidation, or there could be a follow-up move. Why I select this is a proper pullback trade after a very good up move from right from here, this 55 up move, 55% up move. It is testing its 10-day moving average and consolidating in a narrow range. So that is one your pullback move. Why RVNL? Again, after a strong up move, the stock is, the range is getting narrow and narrower. Why I selected this reflex industry, same logic. After the after a good up move, the range is contracting. This one, why I selected, again, it is well above the 10 and 21 day moving average, approaching the previous all-time high level. If I get a consolidation, again, I will get a very good entry point. Same thing happening in this case. uh, Again, taking support at the 21 day moving average and consolidating. So this is my own style that I have discovered after going through many things. Like, I like to catch this type of stocks, and they work best for me. Like, they provide me the best entry point. So that is why I have selected these certain stock. So once you go through many charts, and once you have spent some time in the market, you will develop your own strategy, your own style, right? Again, I'm just showing you how I select stocks for my trading, so maybe you'll get some idea what I'm looking for. Again, if you see, so this was the first time I selected here, but for some reason I didn't buy it, and that's a big regret, right? Because again it gave a very very strong up move of like 30% right after that. So first I selected here, but why I selected this particular stock here? Because again, simple logic, after a very sharp up move, a very narrow range contraction, right? That too, the stock was well above the 10-day moving average. After this 30% move, there was a sharp pullback. The price bounced back from the 21 and went up again, bounced back from the 21, and the range is narrow, getting narrower. So this is kind of a VCP here. So again, once the range starts contracting, expanding on the upside, my bad, once the range starts expanding, means the stock jab upar jana start karega from this point after this. And again, as I explained, the spread, the size of the candle should increase when the price is going up, and the volume should also increase. So that is the particular point where I will enter. Again, why I selected this Marksons, again reversed from the bottom of the channel, broke the channel, again consolidating near the previous it's near its previous high of 97. Again I get a consolidation here, and when it breaks out from this range, I get a good entry point at that particular level. Why I selected Dynamatic Tech? Same logic. If you see, it consolidated here within the channel, and then there was this up move candle here, and then a shallow pullback. That means a very small pullback on the 10-day moving average, and then a very good bounce back, again offering me a very good entry point. Then we have eMudra. Same thing here. After a very sharp up move, see, if you would have able to enter here or maybe here, because again this would have come in my scanner, if I wasn't doing that much hard work few weeks back, but again I would have got it. So again, the logic is simple. After this good expansion candle, this formed a narrow range for many days. I call it the whole inside bar setup. Okay, so I call it the inside pay inside pay inside. Okay, because again the multiple inside bar forming one after another. Okay, so this was the entry point. So after giving a this 58% move, that is the point where it broke the 10 again. Uske baad it's again consolidating, and then we saw some kind of range expansion happening on Friday 30th. Okay, so I think so the logic is clear what I have explained here, why I selected these particular stock, and maybe you can apply some of this in your own strategy and trading, right? And then we had the last one is the pattern I trade most. So there is I won't say there is a pattern that I trade the most. Like whatever I get on the chart, I've shown you my criteria. I'll be going for the gap ups, I'll be going for the reversals. After a 20, 30, 40, even 50% down moves, if a stock is forming a base, like here, this example, Sequent Scientific, okay, after this huge down move from 336 to this, I saw the stock is kind of forming a base here, and this is the particular entry point which I entered around 85, 86, I think so. Maybe my average price is 86 after I added more. So there are two three methods that I follow for stock selection. One, I'll be looking for the gap ups. Second one is the contraction happening, the price tightening or the consolidation happening above the 21-day moving average. Third is I'll be looking for a elaborate base, and fourth is I'll be looking at the weekly long weekly basis. Like if I show you this watch list that I've made, so these are the weekly setups that I have. Wait a second. Yeah, these are the weekly setups I have. Okay, so again, this is the Laupala. You can clearly see it is forming a very big cup and handle on the weekly scale, right? So this is the, yeah, again weekly, and now it is forming a weekly inside bar. So that is even more bullish for me. Okay, if I look at the Radico, again same thing happening, a big elaborate base on the weekly chart. If I look at the RTDUX, first it has broken its first of all it has broken its the downtrending move. Now this is the area where it is facing the prior resistance area, the concept of overhead supply. So overhead supply कुछ नहीं है, the people who were trapped, people who thought कि ये bottom बन गया है, and who bought at this particular level, again you can, because you can clearly see कि इधर भी थोड़ा strong volume activity है, right? So people who bought here are trapped here, and again they are creating some थोड़ी selling आ रही है at this point. So once this area is cleared, I expect a little bit sharper up move. Okay, again this is the another example. This is the Supreme Industries. So either you can clearly see it formed a good nice cup and handle, and it was within a channel, and it was near the bottom of the channel. So again a good nice cup and handle type of formation here, and from that point onward it has moved 18-20%. Okay, so again if you look at the Hindustan Unilever, so a big, if I look at the weekly scale, a big consolidation happening here. It's nearing the breakout level. Okay, then we look at the Axis Bank, it's near the all-time high level. The Titan, again this was the previous all-time high level of 2768. So these are the few of the criterias that I my personal criterias that I use for stock selection: the gap up, the short contraction, the consolidation above the 10 and 20 day moving average, bottom formation, and big elaborate basis on the weekly scale. Okay, so I think I've covered these the questions that were asked. You can ask any more questions if you have, maybe maybe a stock review if you want. I'll be waiting for you. You can just type it in the chat section. Okay, wait. Okay, okay, I'll be taking few of these stock queries. Okay, so first is this one. Again a very bullish stock, right? First time I think so I posted it around here, right before or after the breakout. I think so right after the breakout at this particular level. Again if you see after the IPO based breakout, so this is the IPO based breakout. So IPO based breakout क्या होता है? When the stock crosses the price of the listing day high, और maybe जो उसके बाद high बना होता है listing day के बाद, या around first 2 days में जो high बना होता है, उसके बाद after base formation बनाने के बाद, when the price crosses that particular level, that is the IPO based breakout. Okay, so after the strong IPO based breakout, we saw a brief consolidation happening here, then again breakout आया, then a brief consolidation, then a strong up move, then again currently consolidating. इधर इसने एक fake breakout दिया था above this 460 level. Again I'll wait for it to cross 460. Okay, okay, can you explain range expansion or contraction once again, and what is this? Okay, I'll go through that. Okay, maybe first let me take a few of these stock queries. Okay, so again always remember, none of these the stocks that I've discussed or my watch list is not a stock recommendation. Okay, so Fino payments back. So again this is one of the stage 1 type of stocks. After a huge down move after the IPO, बहुत अच्छा base formation is happening again. So again one thing you can clearly see is this 270 75 80 level, जो कि है एक बहुत strong resistance की तरह काम कर रहा है at this particular point. So once this is crossed, so again that would be that could be the beginning of stage 2 again, because last time इसने एक fake breakout दिया था. So it's not necessary again, but there is a possibility. So I'll be watching this one closely. Then we have the Bharat Wire. Bharat wire setup is kind of a simple. You can, it is kind of a flag, like again थोड़ा सा एक range form कर रहा है with a sloping downward trend line. So again इसने breakout देने की कोशिश की थी but that failed. So again I'll be watching it again within the consolidation range ही है अभी, with a slightly downward slope. Okay, slightly downward slope, and once that is crossed, that could be a good entry point. And then we had the Talbos auto, very good setup again at all-time high level, consolidating. So again entry could be at still taking support at 10 and 21. So pullback trade हो सकता है इसमें, और maybe breakout trade above 767. Okay, Pradeep and LSIL. So Siraj bhai, you have selected a very good stock at a perfect entry point. Because why I'm saying that, I already reviewed this one earlier. So ये एक डाउनवर्ड चैनल में था, इसने चैनल का एक ब्रेकआउट दिया एंड अ वेरी नैरो contraction happening. So this is like a perfect. So thanks for referring this, because again I haven't done this my weekly scan, so I have missed few setups, but again I'll be adding in this my watch list. And LSIL, Lloyd Steel Industries. So abhi I'd say ignore this, because again the setup is not good. It's clearly below 10 and 21 and पूरा current down move चल रहा है. So unless it forms a base or maybe this kind of reversal, I like to avoid it for this moment, right at this moment. Okay, so range expansion and contraction once again. Okay, so क्या होता है range expansion and contraction? Okay, I'll going with the example of again a few of the stocks that I discussed earlier. Okay, I'll be going. So again, what happens is that range contraction is after a stock is in a good uptrend, right? Many people are riding the stock. Okay, so at a particular point people will book profits, और न्यू बायर्स ने उस स्टॉक में एंटर होना होगा who missed the stock earlier. Okay, so or maybe institutions also want to get enter in that particular stock. So एक बार स्टॉक ने मूव दे दिया है, once the people start booking profits, so उधर थोड़ा सेलिंग आएगा. But again, if there are buyers willing to buy that stock, वो उसको support करेंगे, right? So this process happens for few weeks, and it could last also for few months, or maybe as few days. Like कुछ days के लिए भी रह सकता है ये process, or this could this process could go on for even months or weeks. So during that period क्या हो रहा है? Buyers and sellers are exchanging the stock. Okay, so that is why the contraction happens, and वो activity keeps on getting smaller and smaller and smaller. That means the buyers and the sellers keeps on decreasing, and उसकी वजह से जो range है वो contract होती है. As I said earlier, as the price is moving from left to right side, जो वो range है वो contract होती है. That range keeps on contracting, and after that at particular point जब दोनों में से एक force हार जाती है, either the sellers will give up or the buyers will give up. Okay, so so contraction is happening because of the activity of the buyers and the sellers, right? So unme se whenever the one group loses, either the buyers or the sellers, so agar if the sellers lose, the range will expand on the upper side. That means there's no more selling left, there's no more profit profit booking happening, or the previous sellers वो सारे निकल गए हैं. So जो भी new buyers है, they are buying the stock and they are willing to buy the stock at higher price. That leads to the expansion in the range. Okay, so that leads to the price moving higher. In case the seller overcomes the buyer, that means the sellers win and the buyers are exhausted, the range will expand on the lower side. So that is what it is meant by the range expansion, or the and the contraction. I hope that's clear. SG, you asked the question. So I think that is it for today. I don't want to bore you guys for more time. So I think so that is it for today, And I hope you enjoyed the stream, and if you learned something new, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you very much. I'll like to respond. I'll be waiting for your responses, right? If you enjoyed the session or not, and if your doubt is clear or not. Okay, guys. Goodbye. Take care.